live. We're live. Happy Monday, August 11th. We're here. Who is going by so fast? So my video looks like it's a little lagging. How do we do that? I wonder how we pause. I don't want to end the stream. What happened? We're going to play with it a little bit. Yeah, that didn't do anything. Okay, well, we'll just trust that this is going to work just fine. So welcome back, everyone, to Unlocking Your Emotional Intelligence. Feel, heal, and transform. This is my love offering to you. This is a transmission of frequency and energy. This is an invitation to step into a level of consciousness that is more in alignment with the energies that are coming onto the planet, that we are being asked to let go of old energies, old ideas, old paradigms, and those are falling away right now. And it's uncomfortable for a lot of folks, especially without any context to what's happening. And so I'm offering this class as a way for you to more gracefully move with this shift, to more easefully up-level your skill sets, so that as we all go through this transition together, that we can lift each other up. This is my gift to you, and I am very open and welcoming love offerings for this time, for this energy, for this transmission, for this class. This is a fraction of the totality of the full class that I teach, but I'm going to give you some of the juiciest snippets. So if this is of value to you, please consider sharing. Melinda at mvjacobs.com. I appreciate that. Thank you. So today's class, we're talking about the path of emotional healing. We are talking about understanding it and how it works. Now, in past classes, I have shared quotes with you, and these quotes have consciousness, they have energy, they have that frequency to help lift you. And so just imagining the words, the concepts, the ideas dropping into your energy field, and they're just being a natural alchemy. It's like being in a cold room and introducing a heat source, and it warms the room. You don't have to do anything. You just get to enjoy the heat. Or dropping in little drips of food coloring into water and watching that food coloring swirl and change the color of the water. These words, these quotes, this course is just all of that. It's gentle, and it's just asking you to be present to it and consider shifting and changing as a result. So our first quote comes from Daniel Goleman, who wrote the book Emotional Intelligence. I spoke about that earlier. It's more of an academic book, but there is just profound understanding and information that he helps us understand our nervous system and the hard wiring that it is doing and how it works. So he says, emotions are our most important source of information about ourselves and the world around us. Hear that again. Emotions are our most important source of information about ourselves and the world around us. They are the body's way of telling us how we are doing, how we are being treated, and how we are reacting to events. They're information, right? They're here to inform you. Now, over time, they can misguide us for sure. They can mislead us for sure. As Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about, is that initially they are here to inform us, but over time we can get very addicted to the chemicals that are released as a result of having these feelings. But even still, I want you to start considering that feelings can be information. And it's informing you of who and how and where you are in time and space and what's happening around you inside and out. And just take that in. The next quote comes from Eckhart Tolle from The Power of Now. And he says, realize deeply that the present moment is all you have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. And why is that so important, especially when we speak about emotional intelligence? Because so much of our time, effort, and energy is going into either the past or the future, leaving the generous present moment void of you. You're not present to what's happening, to all the information that's coming in from the environment to you and from your internal environment out to the world. You're not present. You're not paying attention. Empty, blank, void. So the more that we can understand, like Eckhart says, is to realize that all this moment is all we have. Then we get to concentrate our energy, be more present here, be more intentional about the next moment and what we're creating for ourselves in the future. Make the now the primary focus of your life. That doesn't mean that you don't contemplate the past or sit in that co-creative space to create your future. You actually do spend time doing that. But the intention is to have this moment be the focus. And for some people, that's a big shift. So understanding healing and what the body is doing and this information that's coming up is very important. What I know to be true through my own experiences and through the thousands of people that I've supported in their own healing journey is that any energy about events from the past that's not dealt with and released and moved through will wait, and it will wait for you, and it will be there. And it just gets buried alive. It's not going anywhere, and it doesn't have any time frame. It's just going to patiently sit and wait for you. And when we really understand that healing is moving through and beyond the situations, not getting away from them, but moving through and beyond them, then we can start being with ourselves in different ways. The body is always seeking its highest expression of health. That's my quote. I'll say it again. The body is always seeking its highest expression of health. It does not like having a bunch of energy shoved into it, like anger, hurt, despair, helplessness, hopelessness, guilt, shame. It doesn't like that. And it turns into little pockets of energetic infection that it will continually try to bring up. Now, I believe everything that we do is a skill set. When the body starts bringing this energy up, what we do in response or reaction to that is a skill set. So if you eat your emotions to push them back down, that's a skill set. It's not a very effective one, but it is a skill set. If we smoke, if we drink, if we spend time scrolling, if we binge watch, if we gamble, if we, get into all this addictive behavior to get away from what we're feeling in the present moment, because this moment is all we have, we don't have a very good skill set. I want to help you up level your skill sets. There's this process called tempering steel. And it's described as a heat treatment process that improves the properties of steel by heating it to a high temperature and then cooling it. The process reduces the risk of cracking and increases the toughness of the steel. That is an important concept to understand, that you can practice this idea of tempering to be present to feelings. Are you getting it? We don't have very good skill sets. Smoking, eating, distracting, avoiding is not an effective skill set. So let's learn something different. Years ago, I was afforded this amazing opportunity to work with John Gabriel and the Gabriel Method, and he has this amazing online presence for sustainable weight loss and up-leveling health. And his whole idea is about adding what the body needs and allowing and nurturing and nourishing the body so that it can heal. And I thought, as I became one of his coaches, I thought, I should probably learn to give something up. I'm going to be asking other people to give things up. So I had this late night popcorn habit. And every night I'd sit down and I'd have my popcorn. And I thought, okay, probably that's not a very healthy habit. Didn't think much of it. Weight wasn't a big issue in my life at that time. And so I thought, all right, I'm just going to give up that because I don't like teaching through hypocrisy. Like I like to be the embodiment of the tools and practices I'm teaching. So the first night that I made that decision, I'm going to give up my late night popcorn, didn't even think about it, just had my popcorn. I was like, oh, well, that's interesting. So it caught my attention. And the next night I thought, I really should give this up. And I went to go put the popcorn in the microwave, and I had this little conversation with myself. I don't have a weight problem. Why do I need to give up my popcorn? Then I got really curious and I'm like, okay, let's roll up our sleeves because Melinda is about to learn about herself. So I decided to take this idea of tempering, exposing myself to the discomfort of the feeling little bit by little bit by little bit. So I set a timer for 30 seconds and I was going to make myself sit there for 30 seconds and then I could have my popcorn, right? So I'm exposing myself to the discomfort, like exposing the heat, the steel to the heat. And then I was going to take myself out of the discomfort by having my popcorn. So 30 seconds went by and I'm just sitting there watching it, and then ding. And then I'm like, okay, had my popcorn. And then the next night, same thing, but I just added 30 more seconds. I'm like, all right, I'm going to expose myself to that discomfort just a little bit longer. Yeah. And this happened every night. I still wasn't thinking about giving it up because I'm like, I just need to wait it out now. Just need to wait out the timer. And yeah, it was getting a little longer and a little longer. I think it was somewhere around the 4 or 5 minute mark that my impatience was growing with the timer and sitting there waiting. And I'm just tapping my finger and tapping my foot. So my body's exhibiting some anxiety, right? I'm like, come on, I want my popcorn. So already I wasn't paying attention to the information my body was giving me. And this thought came up. I'm going to die if I don't get my popcorn. Wow. Now, I can be hyperbolic. I can exaggerate and overstate the intensity of what I'm feeling. But that statement came in as if it were true. If I don't have this, I'm going to die. Okay, good information, because our emotions are just information. So the next night, rather than watching the clock tick down, I did add 30 seconds every night. Instead, I turned my attention to that part of myself that was feeling like she's going to die if she doesn't have this thing that she's been counting on for a very long time. And I tended to her. And I met myself in that place of, I see you and I hear you and I know this feels scary. And I didn't try to coerce myself. I didn't try to talk myself out of those feelings. I just sat and I was present to them. I named them. I acknowledged them. I didn't say, get over it. I didn't shame myself by saying, you're just being stupid. Just come on, it's just popcorn, although those thoughts were coming up. But I really met myself with kindness, with compassion, with understanding. And it didn't take long after that for the popcorn thing to go away. Feelings are information, and they are going to lead you through the doorway to yourself. You're going to meet yourself in powerful ways. And how you show up, beloved, for yourself in those moments is going to define your emotional intelligence, right? We're here to awaken it within you because it's already there. It's natural. It is that innate sense of kindness. And we've learned along the way to disconnect ourselves from our feelings, from ourselves and from our bodies. And we've learned very rigid and very almost what I would call militant kind of ways of get over it. Come on, let's do this. Like we motivate ourselves from places of belittling, berating, and shaming. And it might work in a pinch. It might work over time, but ultimately what we crave is love. What we crave is connection. Now, when we talk about healing and being more emotionally intelligent, I think it's important to recognize the 4 basic emotional needs. They are attention, affection, appreciation, and acceptance. Attention, affection, appreciation, and acceptance. That part of me that felt like she was going to die had been screaming at me through the come on, watching the clock tick down, and my whole body's like jumping around. She's screaming like, hey, I'm here. Pay attention to me. I need help. She needed that affection of, I see you. I see you're scared. She didn't need to be judged or berated or talked out of her feelings because that doesn't work. She needed to be appreciated. And that appreciation in that moment came in the form of, I understand, I see you, and I appreciate how this has been for you. I'm literally here trying to rip away your whoopee, rip away the thing that gives you comfort. And with no awareness, I had no consideration for the impact that decision was having on the all of me. And to accept her exactly where she is, exactly where she's at, and accept that I got a problem with this evening popcorn thing. But here's where people get stuck, and especially when it comes to the idea of shifting and changing. I'm not going to give a part of me the keys to the vehicle and let her drive the car for a while. Like, that's ridiculous. She doesn't get to dictate and make decisions. And so ultimately, it was through the connection, through meeting these 4 emotional needs within myself, that she didn't need the soothing outside of that. When we meet ourselves in powerful ways, kind ways, compassionate ways, the need gets met. And then whatever we're using as a lower form of that, popcorn, ice cream, Netflix, spending money, yelling at people on the road, whatever it's doing, we don't need that anymore because the need has been satisfied. And then everything calms down. So I want to end today's class with a tool, a very powerful tool. When the body is giving you information and you're feeling activated and there's a lot of intensity and you want to practice being present with that so that you can start hearing the information. There's a way to calm the nervous system and self-soothe the nervous system. One of our components of emotional intelligence is self-regulation, the ability to bring ourselves back to center once we get dysregulated. So I'm going to bring myself to the edge of my seat so that I can rock from my hips. So I'm keeping my spine pretty straight, and I'm just rocking my body from the hips forward and back in a really gentle kind of way. Now we're going to build on this. And I'm going to put one hand on my heart, the other hand on top of that hand, and then I'm going to pat the top hand on the bottom hand, kind of like if you were holding a baby, you'd be burping a baby, rocking and burping a baby. And when we do that, it's a pretty firm thump. It's a pretty firm pat. And still rocking the body, nice and easy. It's not fast. And then the patting. And that thump should create a vibration through the rib cage. You should feel that deep in the core of your being. And the last layer that we're going to put onto that, I want you to keep thumping. I'm going to pause that just for the recording. But I want you to breathe in through the nose, nice and slow. And as you exhale through pursed lips, like you're softly blowing out a candle, blowing out the candle. In through the nose. Softly out through the mouth, through pursed lips, rocking and patting and just giving yourself this time to slow everything down. I like to think when the body is giving me information and all this repressed energy is coming up, it's a little bit like being in a storm, and we can be the calm eye of the storm, recognizing that the storm is going to pass and we just need to wait it out. This idea of tempering is about building the resilience within yourself to be able to weather the storm. Yeah? Now, just allow your body to come to a still place. Allow your breathing to return back to a pace that feels normal. Let your hands rest. I want to explain why this works, why this is such a calming thing to the nervous system. The rocking elicits a cellular memory. And that cellular memory takes us back to a time when we were floating in water, in utero. And that's why baby swings are so amazing. That's why it's instinct. When we hold a baby, our body just starts naturally rocking. If you see a baby and there's a group of people standing around, the entire group will be swaying on some level because it's instinct. We do not think of it consciously. It just naturally happens because it is a calming, soothing thing that we do to calm the baby. But it also keeps us calm and regulated. It's a cellular memory. It's not a conscious memory. But we can activate that memory just through the process of rocking. The next is the thumping and the patting. Remember, it needs to be firm enough that it creates a vibration through your rib cage. And that vibration is a cellular memory of a heartbeat. There's a lot of sensory toys and baby monitors that create a vibration or the sound of a heartbeat because it's calming to the nervous system. It's taking us back to a time when we were surrounded and we were being held in the womb and everything. We were in such a place of safety for most of us. We were gestating and developing in this very safe environment. And so the sound, the vibration of the heartbeat is a reminder. It elicits that cellular memory. The last one is in through the nose, blowing out through the mouth, gently blowing out those candles. The nervous system takes this as a signal that you're safe. Because when there's a predator in the room, I guarantee you it is not instinct to breathe in that way. If there is I got to get out of here and I got to get out of here fast, we're going to breathe rapidly. We're going to breathe shallowly, and all the blood's going to race out to our extremities to get us out and to safety. But this signal in through the nose, out through the mouth, signals the nervous system that we're safe. I think one of the things that we do that is a huge error is we continually tell ourselves we're not safe. Well, because of that, I'm not safe. Because of that, I'm not safe. And the truth is right now, right here, 99.9% of the time, my body is actually safe. There might be things I need to address. There might be challenges that I need to tend to. There might be skill sets I need to up level. But most of the time, the body is actually safe and protected. So thank you for being here. Thank you for learning these tools and up-leveling your own emotional intelligence, for awakening this within you, because what I know is true, beloved, is that when we approach the world and ourselves and our families and our communities and our work, being more present, more calm, more resilient, I know the world becomes a kinder place. So until next time, please be gentle, please be kind to yourselves. Again, if you are valuing this information, please consider sharing a love offering. Here's the information again. You can send it to me via PayPal, melinda@mvjacobs.com. This is my offering, my gift to you, to the world, because I know with just a little awareness, with a little practice, we within ourselves can have better lives, better health, better relationships. And when that happens, the world becomes a better place for us all. I'll see you next time. Take good care of you. Thank you for tuning in.